Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show, Red Pill Edition. My name is Leon Jones, and in this segment, I want to talk about how you handle your mental and physical health during the coronavirus pandemic. So the title of this video is, how do you handle your mental and physical health during the coronavirus pandemic? Well, very simple. What most of us are doing right now, because there are a number of us who are out of work, we're stressed because we have bills to pay, our lives have basically stopped in our minds. But if you really think about it, they haven't. What you need to do is come up with innovative ways to keep your lives going. Now, as far as money, I know things are tight right now, and that raises your stress level. But there are certain things that you can do. If you know how to, number one, get an online business, sell items on eBay, that can make some decent money for you if you're good at sales. Number two, work for some of these restaurant chains by delivery service. Now, what I mean is some of these restaurant chains like McDonald's, Olive Garden, they have a hookup with Grubhub and DoorDash. Be a delivery person, you can make a little bit of money. I'm not saying it's going to be what you made before you were laid off, but it is enough to keep you honest, because money is going to be tight. I know we all have our car payments, our mortgage. I know we have tuition, student loans, credit card payment. We have all those obligations, but they're not going to go away. If you have cable and have Comcast and have electric to pay, at the end of the day, you still owe them their money. But you have to, in your mind, not sit dormant. See, a number of individuals who are used to entertainment are going to take this time and become lazy. And when they become lazy, this is where you can wind up with a bunch of health problems. I mean, doctors' offices aren't open. There are some hospitals that are open. Now, this just depends on where you live. But I always say this, when it comes to your health, you should always get yourself checked up, because your physical health can have an effect on your mental health. They both go hand in hand. They both can be fatal if you don't take care of them. Now, when I talk about physical health, I'm talking about your body. Your body is a chemical. Now, what I do, because there's no gym open, I do calisthenics at home. I jog in place. And the main thing I do is get proper sleep. I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Also, I eat properly. Now, I'm not saying everything I eat is perfect, but I eat in moderation. Now, I'm going to give you a list right now of what you need to eat to give you some protein. Number one, eat kale. Now, the reason why I like kale, because kale is a nutrient-dense vegetable. It has many minerals, vitamins, antioxidants. Again, kale, it's a very nutrient-dense vegetable, and it has plenty of vitamins, nutrients, and antioxidants. Green tea is another idea because I like green tea because it has a lot of antioxidants. Now, I buy this brand right here, Celestial Seasonings. It's lemon, honey, ginseng. It has a lot of antioxidants as well. In fact, one bag will give you 2 cups. Now, also, multi or I call them microgreens. Microgreens are immature greens produced from the seeds of vegetables and herbs. And despite their size, when we talk about micro, we talk about small. They're full of cover, flavor, and nutrients. Also, try collard greens. I love collard greens. In fact, you can mix collard greens and kale together. Collard greens are a good source of calcium and vitamin A. Now, the reason why I'm bringing these vegetables up, because what's going to help your immune system is eating green vegetables, eating fruits like bananas, strawberries, plums, grapes, watermelon, and also eating lean meats. Now, there's a debate that if you eat some seafood, and I'm talking about the crustaceans, they're scavengers, which they are scavengers. And I'm talking about your shrimp, I'm talking about your crabs, and I'm talking about your lobsters and your shellfish. Now, some people are allergic to those seafoods, but they can be very good for you, but you have to cook them. And when it comes to meat like pork, beef, and chicken, well, too much of everything can be bad for you. But at the end of the day, if you cook everything yourself, see, here's the problem. Many individuals are still ordering out. Even though you can't eat in a restaurant, they're going to pick it up at the establishment. Either it's through drive-through or carry-out, and also it's being delivered to you. Now, some of the grocery stores like Kroger, Walmart, Meijer, they deliver the food to your house, but you have to tell them what you want. Now, part of your health is proper exercise. If you're just starting a new exercise regimen, you should get about 30 minutes of exercise every day. Whether it's stretching, walking, you have to do something active. You have to keep your blood flowing. The problem is you have a number of individuals that are going to be watching TV. And when they watch TV, they're going to watch programming that's not appropriate. It's going to be more for entertainment. Okay, that's fine, but you're not getting any physical activity. And also with the grocery stores, now the panic regarding food has slowed down. There are going to be a number of individuals who are going to be running to the grocery store buying food that's not good for them. Sugary snacks, salted and greasy snacks such as potato chips. They're going to be buying alcohol. I saw it yesterday when I came out of Dollar General. And 2 ladies, they went and bought a 6-pack of Bud. Beer is not good for you. Beer has a lot of carbohydrates. Beer is made of hops. It's made of wheat. Beer has a lot of calories. You also have some wines that are very sweet. It's nothing wrong with a glass of red wine. In Italy, they drink red wine. But too much of anything can be disastrous. And then you have to look at the types of diets out here. You have the keto diet. You have carbohydrate diets. You have a lot of different diets out there. And you have a number of individuals who are looking trim, they're looking buff. These are individuals who are trying to market a product. Listen, to help your psyche, it always feels good to look good. One must remember, everything is in moderation. You will not have a good diet unless you eat right, you get proper sleep, and you exercise. I don't care who you are. Now, you also have to look at your family tree. There are some people who come from a family that has heart disease. They come from a family that has high blood pressure. You have to continually get yourself checked. And if you have high sugar, you should get yourself a glucose monitor. Make sure you take care of your sugar. And when you're going out buying items, what you need to do is read the label. There are a number of individuals that I observe when they shop. They do not read the label. Let me clue you in on something. If you see high fructose syrup or corn syrup, that should trigger something in your mind. That's sugar. Now you also see sugar in something, or anything with OSE, sucralose. That's sugar. They're not going to tell you that. And when you are looking at different food items, look at the brand names. Some brands are better than others. Now, something that's going to keep you healthy as well. See a number of individuals who are wearing masks out. Okay, the problem with the mask is you're going to have to continue to change your mask. Again, you'll have to continually change your mask, because once you put that mask on, now you have the germs in the mask. Why would you want to put the same mask on? Even if you wear gloves, you're going to have to change those items out. And you're not going to be fully cleared, because if you use the bathroom, you sanitize your hands. Unless you have a paper towel in your hand, you're going to touch the doorknob. Now, the good thing about some of these bathrooms is they have automatic faucets where you put your hand under the faucet and you get the water. You don't have to utilize any fixtures. But there are some, if you go into the older facilities, where you're going to have to touch the fixtures. Now, at the end of the day, you have to be self-reliant right now. Too many of us are depending on the government. And when you allow the government in your lives, the government takes away a lot of freedoms, and that's very stressing. Now, me, I believe government is here to protect my rights, but it is not here to supply me with a standard of living. I supply myself with a standard of living, and I'm one who wants government out of our lives. There are a number of individuals who are too lazy to do for themselves, and I guarantee they are sitting at home and enjoying that time away from work, waiting for a $1,200 check. Now, $1,200 is not going to go a long way when a number of these big corporations are getting a bigger chunk of that money. Now, I know why they're getting a bigger chunk of that money, because some of these companies also pay for the campaigns of these politicians. But that's another video. What I'm suggesting you do is get yourself active health-wise. And this is also a chance for you to use cooking skills. There are a number of individuals who do not know how to cook. They're used to buying everything from a fast food restaurant. You look at the African American community, there are a number of individuals who love going to Kentucky Fried Chicken, Burger King. They love going to Popeyes. They love going to churches. Why? Because they don't have to cook themselves. You see, if you cook your own food, you actually control what you put in your food. And at the end of the day, you want to take in enough calories so you can burn those calories off. And you should be drinking enough water, 64 ounces of water. Now, you can substitute water for drinking tea and even a cup of coffee. But at the end of the day, you want to continually hydrate your system. Now, I'm telling you this because this is a way to keep you from getting sick as an individual. It doesn't mean that you won't, but you will have less of a chance of getting sick. Now, there are a number of individuals who are sick because they've had health problems in the past, particularly a number of your elderly individuals. And see, if you look at the data, a number of the individuals who have died have been men, but you have a number of women who have died as well, particularly when you look at the bigger cities. Now, the bigger cities have a different type of thinking. The bigger cities have more of a welfare mindset. And when you have more of a welfare mindset, you're going to depend on the government to do everything for you. And when it comes to programs, a number of women in this country depend on government. Why? Because many of them don't take care of themselves when they're young. They only find out what's going on when they get older. But what it is, they get on programs like Medicare, Medicaid. Those are government-sponsored programs through the taxpayers. This is why a number of your women believe in socialism. But overall, we have a country that is more dependent on government than ever. Now, you look at people like Pastor Dow. He's built a ministry in the country. He grows his own food. If you know how to cultivate your own land, you're going to be okay. Why? Because you prepare for any type of pandemic or epidemic that comes around. Now, I want you to think about what we've had before. Back in the 1910s, there was the Spanish flu, and the Spanish flu was much worse than this epidemic. You had H1N1, which is the swine flu, and that wasn't that long ago. We've had the bubonic plague. We've had measles. We've had smallpox. We've even had, and it's still active, the common flu, pneumonia, and of course the common cold. We deal with those symptoms and those viruses every year. We don't stop the economy. But when I look at the coronavirus, how you help yourself mentally, you must start by helping yourself physically. Because when your mind and your body are right, you will make better decisions. A number of individuals came to this pandemic unprepared. It's just like when it snows. You see a number of people running to the grocery store. Well, they're running to the grocery store trying to buy everything up because they think it's the end of the world, when it's not at the end of the world. They didn't take measures to prepare. Now, when I was in prepping stages, I got laughed at. But it's funny, I'm not desperate to go out and buy food. I can cook. I exercise every day. Now, what if you're at work? Well, if there's nobody around, put some chairs together, do some push-ups, stretch, get out of your seat, do a little walking. You see, life is more than just entertainment. You only get one life. And if you maintain your health now, you're going to have a much better life. Because health is more than just getting through this coronavirus. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I have my opinions about the coronavirus? Yes, I do, because I believe that the coronavirus and the rabbit hole is much deeper than what my belief is. But you have governments that want to control the masses. And the reason why they want to do that is because some of them want a one world dictatorship. And the only thing that's standing in the way of a dictatorship is the United States, because most of these other countries are socialist and communist countries. But again, that's a different video. When it comes to eating meat, and I'm going to go back to that, you have to cook your meat to an inner temperature of 165 degrees, because meat has a danger zone, and that danger zone is from 45 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't cook your meat right, there is a chance that you can get sick. Also, when you store your food, you don't want to store anything with pork and chicken and eggs mixed together. There's a chance you can get some salmonella. You see, what I'm giving you is proper sanitation methods as well, because there are a number of us who don't use them at home, and that can cause outbreaks as well. Now, these are basically general items that you should be doing. Now, what about getting a mask with canisters? Well, the canisters can help, but you have to keep changing the canisters. And there are a number of individuals who don't know how to don a gas mask. But when it comes to your health, you have to keep tabs on your health every day. Again, if you're going to diet, find out what diet is best for you. If you want to do the keto diet, if you want to do the plant-based diet, if you want to do the vegan diet, that's up to you, because everybody responds differently to dieting. But one thing you need to understand about a diet is not going to work overnight. And too many of us are looking for instant gratification. This is why they go for the bariatric surgery. That does not work. It takes a lot of nutrients out of your system. The best way to lose weight is to do it the natural way. But that comes from motivation. And one thing that I'm going to find out from this coronavirus epidemic is look at the people who have the motivation to continue with their lives. You have a number of people who can't get out of the house. That's unfortunate. However, there's no reason why you cannot do a little bit of physical activity in your own house. You don't have to have a gym. Like I said, I don't have a gym, but I make sure that I do something active to keep my metabolism sped up, and I eat right. Now, when you're eating, you may want to take less calories. And the reason why I say you want to take in less calories is because you don't want to keep spending money to go in and out of grocery stores. You don't want to deal with the pressures of being around a number of people who aren't utilizing proper sanitation procedures, because I've seen it myself. Again, you can put all the gloves, you can put all the masks on, but you're still going to touch something. So when it comes to your health and safety, it's up to you. I'm just giving you pointers because I worked in the food industry. And also something else that's going to help you when it comes to your health: a clean house. There are a number of us who have a lot of dust in our house. Many of us don't clean our houses. We don't clean properly. Many of us have trash piled up. These are avenues that cause risk as well. But at the end of the day, as an individual, you're going to have to eat properly, get proper rest. You're going to have to exercise properly, because depending on how long this coronavirus epidemic lasts, there are going to be a number of people out there who are going to sit on their behind. They're going to eat their way to obesity. And at the end of the day, they're not going to want to get up and do any type of exercise. And when they try to do exercise, they're going to give up. And when we talk about self-improvement, you have to start off and look at yourself. You have to tell the truth about yourself. You have to look at where you are in life. And another thing that's going to help you: if you're a smoker, this is where you need to quit. Because when you have any type of upper respiratory infection or problems with your lungs, you're also at risk. Now, I know it's very difficult to go see a doctor. I just mentioned that. But if you take the proper precautions, you can still be healthy. Again, you have to understand what's going on and make sure that you're getting the right information. Just because the CDC puts out something, it does not mean that the CDC's information is correct. The CDC, the World Health Organization, they're all bureaucracies. And a lot of your pharmaceuticals, they're bureaucracies as well. So overall, what I am saying is, if you want to get through this pandemic, you got to be self-reliant. There are going to be individuals who are going to be emotionally upset. You have to know how to control your emotions. There are going to be people that you are living with that are going to get on your nerves. There are going to be co-workers around you. But what you have to do, you have to protect yourself. You can't protect anybody else, because at the end of the day, we're supposed to stay at least 6 feet from people. Can't have any more than 10 people in an establishment, according to the rules. But you also have to understand your freedoms out here, because many individuals want government in their lives. They're forgetting they're losing their freedoms. And when you lose your freedom to protect yourself, what's going to happen, you're going to be looking for the government to plant a vaccine inside of you. And also, if that happens, you don't know if that vaccine is going to come with a microchip. And number 2, we always hear about 5G. Well, radiation, I'm sitting in an office, radiation comes from fluorescent lights, comes from the sun. But fluorescent lights and the sun, that's small radiation. That's radiation. Also, there was the epidemic where if you put the cell phone against your ear, that you would get brain cancer. All of those theories are debatable, but at the end of the day, we don't know. But you still should take precautions. Because remember, You only live one time, and you want to make the best of this life while you have it. So, what I'm just telling you is don't be one who's irrational with the thoughts of desperation, because during these times, you're going to have some suicides that take place. You're going to have crime that's going to take place. You're going to have a lot of scams that are going to take place. They're going to raise your stress level. But you want to alleviate diabetes. You want to alleviate hypertension, which is high blood pressure. You want to alleviate stress, cardiovascular, strokes. They're also out there. And some of those symptoms can also be fatal. But we know how to deal with those symptoms. This coronavirus is brand new, but you can still deal with it if you use common sense procedures. And the first thing I always will tell anybody, don't overreact. I mean, when you have individuals going to the store, buying up all the toilet tissue, you can't eat toilet tissue. You got to know how to cook your food. You got to know what food to buy. You got to know how much sleep to have. You got to get plenty of physical activity. And if you do that, you will help yourself. Because freedom is not about the government. It's about you relying on yourself. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone Radio Show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you want a dose of science, technology, engineering, and math, come to my Mind of STEM channel. Also listen to my Blog Talk Radio show every weekend. And if you can't find me on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, you can find me on Facebook and Twitter. And I'm going to leave you with this. Be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. I want you to have a wonderful and blessed day. That concludes another commentary of 401 Talk Zone Radio Show. Once again, my name is Leon Jones. You have a good day. I'm out.